Azealia Banks has once again reminded the internet that peace and quiet are strangers in her digital vocabulary. Her latest outburst, this time targeting Muslims and even the British Muslim journalist Bushra Sheikh, has left everyone equal parts appalled, fascinated, and grimly entertained. The rapper posted a now infamous rant declaring her hatred for Islam, describing personal encounters with Muslim women who suffered abuse and trauma, and culminating in the statement that Islam will be exterminated. It's the kind of statement that makes PR agents wake up in cold sweats and philosophers of free speech sigh into their coffee. The irony, of course, is that Banks was only recently under fire from Jewish critics for her own incendiary remarks, namely her claim that some black people are the true Jews. She went nuclear in response, unleashing a barrage of insults before switching gears and attempting a diplomatic reset. The result? She managed to alienate both sides of a conflict that has baffled politicians for 75 years in under 48 hours.
There's so much bullshit coming out of everybody's mouth. They're like, oh, it's not the Jews, it's Zionism. Oh, it's not the Jews, it's the IEF. Like, say what the fuck you mean. And let me tell y'all why I know. I know none of y'all motherfuckers give a fuck. Y'all don't give a fuck about them dead kids. Y'all don't give a fuck about them dead kids. There are plenty of humanitarian disasters happening in the world where kids are involved and kids are victims. But you know why you care specifically about these dead kids? Because you hate Jews. Because y'all fucking hate Jews, you know? And just say it. Just fucking say it.
This whiplash-inducing flip-flopping is vintage Azealia. Her digital persona has long existed in a liminal space between performance art and emotional eruption. One moment she's praising a Muslim politician like Zohran Mamdani, declaring, okay, I made my decision and I'm voting for Mamdani. And the next, she's pledging metaphysical war against Islam itself. There's a theatricality to it all, a sense that her X feed isn't a communication platform, but an experimental stage production titled Banks, The Self-Immolation Chronicles. But buried beneath the chaos is something that almost resembles sincerity. She describes witnessing horrifying acts, child abuse, genital mutilation, the long psychological scars of patriarchal control, and connects them to her hatred of Islam. The trouble is that the personal doesn't excuse the universal. Condemning an entire faith for the actions of some of its adherents is like burning down a library because one of the books offended you. There's genuine pain behind her words, but pain filtered through rage tends to become propaganda. People often ask whether Azealia Banks is crazy, confused, or just passionate. The answer is probably yes, but not in the way you think. She's not insane. She's self-aware enough to weaponize shock value. She's confused, but mostly about her audience, not her feelings. And she's passionate, furiously, almost religiously so, about asserting her narrative in a world that constantly tries to box her in.
In a series of posts on X last Friday, Palestinians have more Semitic DNA than Ashkenazi Jews, so that means Palestinians are more Jewish than Ashkenazi Jews. Honestly, the Jews are getting effing boring, and this is why you have no friends. She didn't stop there and added that she wants to leave here now.
I wasn't trying to offend anybody, you know. I didn't know it was a threat. So, you know, a lot of people hit me up and jumped in, and it was just like a bunch of confusion. I love Israel. I'm still a Zionist.
Banks is one of the more prominent artists who supported Israel since the October 7th massacre.
Her contradictions are the point. They keep her unpredictable, which keeps her relevant. In a way, Azealia Banks embodies the modern algorithmic prophet, someone who doesn't preach for truth, but for engagement. Outrage is currency, and she's a wealthy woman in that economy. Every time she offends, retracts, apologizes, or doubles down, she feeds the same machine that amplifies her voice. The tragedy, and perhaps the comedy, is that her anger often drowns out her intelligence. Beneath the online inferno is a sharp, witty artist who could have been one of the defining cultural commentators of her generation if she didn't constantly set her own commentary on fire. So yes, Azealia Banks went off again, and again the world watched, gasped, screenshotted, subtweeted, and judged. The cycle will repeat because that's how her mythology works. She isn't trying to be consistent, she's trying to be unforgettable. And in that respect, she's succeeding with a ferocity that only Azealia Banks could muster. She remains the internet's favorite paradox, a woman who condemns what she once endorsed, defends those she just insulted, and somehow still finds a way to make you read every word. Whether you call it madness, passion, or performance art, one thing is certain: it's never boring.